Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Bexar County Court of Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. I'm Judge Wayne Christian, and we have our plea docket for today, which is Thursday, the 2nd of December, 2021. It is approximately 15 minutes after 2 p.m. in the afternoon. The cases I have set for pleas today are cause 663-978, State of Texas versus Bonifacio Lopez Cristomo, represented by Mr. Christopher Alonso. Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, Pretrial Diversion, Plea and Probation Agreements, cause 659-951. State of Texas versus Christopher Sutton, represented by Mr. Ivan Barrera. Cause number 632-486, State of Texas versus Hugo Guerrero, represented once again by Mr. Ivan Barrera. Cause 654-285, State of Texas versus Jason Brooks, represented by Mr. Robert Ambrosino. And I have conventional pleas. Cause number 549910, State of Texas versus Rosana Valadez, represented by Ms. Phyllis Spiel. Cause number 665980, State of Texas versus Joel Guerrero, represented by Mr. Ross Brendel. Cause number 648327, State of Texas versus Chandra Martinez, represented by Mr. Ross Brendel. Cause number 671976, State of Texas versus Trenton Burgess, represented by Mr. Milton Butler. Cause number 604-846 and 604-849, State of Texas versus Armando Maldonado, represented by Mr. Andrew Del Cueto. Cause number 665-623, State of Texas versus Andreas Alba, represented by Mr. Michael Valachek. And I believe that one's being reset. Is that correct, Pat? Pat, are you with us?
Yes, Your Honor. He's going to be reset.
Fair enough. And cause number 645-855 and 645-854, State of Texas versus Christian Falsell, represented by Mr. Roland Arguelles. Initially, let's take up our Spanish interpretation plea on Mr. Bonifacio Lopez Cristomo.
Judge, may I speak quickly?
Sure.
And give my little blurb?
Sure.
If everybody can grab a pencil, I'm going to be giving you a telephone number here in just a moment. First of all, if anyone expects to be placed on probation today, if you currently reside outside of Bexar County, outside the state of Texas, or you intend on moving outside of Bexar County or outside the state of Texas, you need to bring that to the judge's attention before you plea. Okay? Anyone that is granted and placed on probation today, you will be receiving notification from the probation department. If you have not heard from them by next Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, you need to call this phone number, area code 210-335-7446. I'll repeat it again in a minute. They're going to call you and they're going to set up an orientation. Most of the orientations are still being done via Zoom. They will call you, email you, or text you. If you do not hear from them by 10 a.m. on Wednesday, you need to call 210-335-7446. Each of you has to go through an orientation process. If you fail to do that and sign your paperwork, then the judge will be notified and a warrant will go out for your arrest. And then you get to go back to Bexar County Jail and come back here. Okay. Does anyone have any questions at all? Okay. Good luck, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sue. Once again, this is cause 663-978, State of Texas versus Bonifacio Lopez Cristomo, represented by Mr. Chris Alonso. Mr. Alonso, are you ready to proceed?
We are ready, Your Honor, and client is present in the conference room due to interpretation.
Thank you. And Carmen, our interpretation services are working properly today for once? No, thank you. All right. Mr. Cristomo and Mr. Alonso, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which is in English, which says, in accordance with Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 27.18, I, Bonifacio Lopez Cristomo, hereby waive my right to enter my plea of guilty nolo contendere in open court, and I do hereby give my consent to the use of video conference for my plea proceeding in the referenced case. I understand that this plea by video conference will be recorded by a certified court reporter, and that upon my oral acknowledgement on the record of the court's oral admonishments, my plea documents will be valid as if personally signed by me and my attorney. Mr. Crisostomo, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Sí,
Thank you.
sí,
And Mr. Alonso, as attorney for Mr. Crisostomo, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Crisostomo, the next document I have a copy in English and a copy in Spanish, is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, sir, it's your signature on both the copy in English and the copy in Spanish.
sí,
Thank you. By signing these copies, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these copies or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, Mr. Alonso. So that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Crisostomo?
sí,
Thank you. Mr. Alonso, as attorney for Mr. Crisostomo, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor, and I do find him to be competent.
Mr. Crisostomo, are you a United States citizen, sir?
no,
Mr. Crisostomo, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere for the offense charged may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Crisostomo, have you discussed with your attorney and been made aware of the mentioned consequences? And are you now still knowingly wanting to enter a plea to this offense?
sí,
Thank you. Mr. Alonso, as attorney for Mr. Crisostomo, have you had the ability to discuss with him the possible problems he may encounter with regard to his immigration status if he enters a plea to this crime?
I have, Your Honor, I have satisfied the elements under the matter of Padilla. I am his immigration counsel for the record, Your Honor.
Okay. And after you had this discussion with him, did he indicate to you he wanted to go forward with a plea bargain with the state at this time?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Alonso, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have, Your Honor.
And state, you got a motion, it would appear.
Yes, Your Honor, the state moves to waive the 0.15 enhancement.
No objection from the defense, that will be granted.
No objection, Your Honor.
So therefore, Mr. Crisostomo, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
culpable,
And my paperwork says no contest. It doesn't matter to me which way you want to go. Mr. Alonso, what plea would you like your client to enter?
No contest, Your Honor.
Is that okay with you, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. The court accepts a plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense from Mr. Crisostomo in cause 663-978. Is there an agreement from Mr. Crisostomo?
Yes, Your Honor, the agreement is for 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 12 months, $500 fine, of which 200 will be probated. Court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP, SSM for half the term, regular UAs, $60 to DPS, and DOEP.
And Mr. Alonso, is that your understanding of the agreement?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Crisostomo, on cause 663-978, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine, probating $200 of that, plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education program, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for 6 months, which is 1/2 the term, regular urinalysis tests, $60 reimbursement to the Texas Department of Public Safety for a lab fee, and the DOEP anti-marijuana course. Anything further from the state or defense on Mr. Crisostomo?
Nothing from the state.
I just wanted to confirm that we could, in lieu of the 48 hours, make the donation to the court's organization.
Regarding community service hours, a defendant in County Court at Law number 6 is entitled to donate $10 per hour to a court charity, which are primarily special operations wounded warrior organizations or family violence prevention organizations. And your probation officer will have a list of those, as well as Ms. Benavides will have a list of those. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Crisostomo?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Crisostomo. Thank you, Mr. Alonso. Y'all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good day. Thank you, State.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carmen.
Okay. We're going to take a batch of 6 initially, and we're going to hear the 3 Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion plea and probation agreements, clause 659951. State of Texas versus Christopher Sutton, represented by Mr. Ivan Barrera. We have clause 632486. State of Texas versus Hugo Guerrero, represented by Mr. Ivan Barrera. And we have clause 654285, State of Texas versus Jason Brooks, represented by Mr. Robert Ambrosino. And we have regular pleas, clause 549910, State of Texas versus Rosana Valadez, represented by Ms. Phyllis Beal. 665980, State of Texas versus Joel Guerrero, represented by Mr. Ross Brendel. And last but not least, in our first batch, clause 648327, State of Texas versus Jandra Martinez, represented by Mr. Ross Brendel. And Mr. Barrera, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Sutton and Mr. Guerrero at this time?
Yes, Judge, on both.
Thank you. And Mr. Ambrosino, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Beal, are you ready to go forward on Ms. Valadez? Phyllis, your microphone is still turned off. I'm glad other people do that. Makes me feel better.
Some reason it's
There you go.
working. Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready.
All right, thanks. And Mr. Brendel, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Guerrero and Ms. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fair enough. The first document I need each of you to identify your signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. In fact, Mr. Sutton, in clause 659951, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
And Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Sutton, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Guerrero, in clause 632486, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Barrera, is this also your signature on this document as attorney for Mr. Guerrero?
It's probably Cole Nettles, Judge, but yes,
Oh.
same for.
Let's try that. Can you identify Mr. Nettles' signature on this document as your co-counsel?
It is, Your Honor.
Thanks. And Mr. Brooks, in clause 654285, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Ambrosino, as attorney for Mr. Brooks, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Valadez, in clause 549910, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Beal, as attorney for Ms. Valadez, it is also your signature on this document.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Guerrero, in clause 665980, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Guerrero, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Martinez, in clause 648327, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Ms. Martinez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Sutton, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Mr. Guerrero, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Brooks, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Valadez, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Guerrero, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Martinez, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys. So that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Mr. Sutton?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Guerrero?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Ms. Valadez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Guerrero?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Sutton, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
I have and he is, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Guerrero.
I have and he is.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Ambrosino, as attorney for Mr. Brooks.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Beal, as attorney for Ms. Valadez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Ms. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Sutton, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir, I am.
Same question for Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Brooks.
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Valadez.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Sutton, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on his case?
State's complied.
Same question for Mr. Barrera with regard to Mr. Guerrero's case.
Yes, Judge. State's complied.
Same question for Mr. Ambrosino with regard to Mr. Brooks' case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Beal with regard to Ms. Valadez's case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Brendel as attorney for Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Brendel as attorney for Ms. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Sutton in cause 6590951 to the charge of driving while intoxicated. Second offense. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, sir.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Places you on 1 year Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial diversion probation, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI intervention, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile, home interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. And is there any restitution on this case, state? Let me look. No restitution. Well done. Requiring your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Issue judge's bond. Defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. Sutton, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the terms and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, sir, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, sir, it is.
And Mr. Barrera, is this your signature on this document also as attorney for Mr. Sutton?
It is, Your Honor.
And I have a signature of a Megan R. Galloway. Is that an imposter or is that a real assistant criminal district attorney?
She's real, Your Honor.
All right, all good. Let's see. That's all I got. What did I miss, State?
Nothing, Your Honor. That's it.
Defense, what did I miss?
Got it all, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Sutton, what'd you do in the military, sir?
I was a contract specialist, sir, and continue to do that for the federal government at this time.
Oh, you were in the Air Force. You weren't in the military. Is that true? That was a joke, sir. That was a joke. Hey, thanks for your service, sir. Y'all
Thank you, sir.
Chris, you're in your foxhole listening to all this. If I missed something, jump in and let me know.
Judge,
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Mr. Sutton has a warrant from pretrial. Can we get it recalled, please?
We're recalling all pretrial bond conditions and warrants.
Thank
Now,
you.
that will probably not take effect till tomorrow sometime. So don't go out on the town thinking you're not going to get picked up, because you will. So by tomorrow morning, it should be fine.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Judge, one more thing, please.
sure. Go ahead, Chris.
Mr. Guerrero and Mr. Brooks are both complete with BIP and DWI education, so if we can get them credit, that'd be great.
All right, you're going to get proactive credit for those 2 courses, and they can show their probation officer or whoever that they need to talk to that they've completed it, and that's all good. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sutton. Thank you, Mr. Barrera. Mr. Sutton, you're excused. Mr. Barrera, hang around a minute.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, it's class 632-486, Mr. Guerrero, to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of greater than 0.15. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Accept your plea of guilty. I hold it in advance. Place you on 1 year Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, pretrial intervention, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee. 48 hours community service, probating all that based on your military service. DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. And we don't have any restitution on this one, hopefully. Let's see. No restitution, all good. Requiring your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. Guerrero, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1, Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney in the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites for your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Barrera, can you identify Mr. Nettles' signature, your trial partner, as co-counsel on this case on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
And I have a signature of a Megan Galloway, a purported assistant criminal district attorney. And Mr. Villarreal, is that your understanding that she signed this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
All good. And what I miss on this one, State?
Nothing, Your Honor. That's it.
And did Mr. Guerrero proactively do the DWI education and the victim impact panel also? I believe that was stated.
Yes, sir.
Well done. What'd you do in the military, Mr. Guerrero?
I was a security policeman for 22 years in the Air Force.
Oh my. You know, there was a time we were looking for you guys and trying to stay out of your way. Thanks. Thanks for your service, sir.
You as
All
well.
right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Guerrero?
No, Judge.
Mr. Barrera, Mr. Guerrero, you're excused. Thank you.
Thank you,
you,
Judge.
Your Honor.
And class 654-285, Mr. Brooks, to the charge of driving while intoxicated. First offense, how do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Court accepts your plea of no contest. Hold it in advance. Places you on 1 year Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, pretrial diversion. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. And hopefully no restitution on this one either. Nope, all good. And requiring your successful completion of the VTC, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. Brooks, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney in the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the terms and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, sir, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Ambrosino, as attorney for Mr. Brooks, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
And Once again, Mr. Villarreal, can you identify Ms. Galloway's signature as your co-counsel assistant criminal district attorney?
Yes, Your Honor, that's it.
All good. All right. State what I missed on this one.
Nothing, Your Honor, you got it.
Defense, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Did Mr. Brooks do any proactive stuff like the DWI education course or the victim impact panel?
Both, sir. He's good to go.
All right.
Yes, you did.
Credit for all that. Just show your probation officer what we're doing. Okay, Mr. Brooks was in the Army of the United States. What did you do in the Army of the United States, Mr. Brooks?
Your Honor, I was an airborne medic and a medical company first sergeant for 173rd Airborne Brigade a couple of times in Afghanistan.
Where is the one with 30 what now, Airborne Brigade?
173rd, sir.
Oh, 173rd. You were in the herd. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you manage not to get shot or blown up?
I did. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well done. Thanks for your service, sir. Mr. Ambrosino and Mr. Brooks, y'all are cut loose. Ron, you want to come back in and tell everybody what, are you going to call them later on today or tomorrow? How are you doing that?
No, I'll give them a call today, all three of them.
All good. You
Okay.
guys are out
Thank you,
here.
Your Honor.
Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You bet. And let's see what we're doing on Ms. Valadez. Okay, Ms. Valadez in cause 549910 to the charge of theft, $100 to $750. How do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Valadez?
Yes, Your Honor, the agreement is for 2 days in the Bexar County Jail, a $0 fine, plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, and a judgment satisfied.
And Ms. Beal, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Your Honor.
Ms. Valadez in clause 549910, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I find you guilty. I assess 2 days in the Bexar County Jail, a $0 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Valadez?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Ms. Valadez. Thank you, Ms. Beal. Y'all are dismissed.
Thank you.
And let's see what we're doing on Mr. Guerrero. State, you got a motion.
Yes, Your Honor, the state moves to waive the 0.15 enhancement.
An objection from the defense that will be granted. Therefore, Mr. Guerrero on clause 665980 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
And my favorite once again says no contest. It doesn't matter to me, Mr. Brendel. What do you want your client to plead?
No contest.
Is that okay with you, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fair enough. Court accepts the plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Is there an agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, the agreement is for a $500 fine plus court costs, 180 days in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 12 months, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, victim impact panel live, CATSNIP, SSM for half the term, and restitution, if any, to Simon Garcia Jr.
And Mr. Brendel, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Guerrero on clause 665980, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, $500 fine plus court costs, and 48 hours of community service. And DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Car Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term or 6 months. And restitution, if any, to Simon Garcia Jr. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Guerrero?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, sir.
Okay, good luck, Mr. Guerrero. Mr. Brendel, hang around for one more plea and I'll cut you loose. Unless Mr. Brendel wants you to hang around, Mr. Guerrero, you can leave as far as I'm concerned. That's between you guys.
He can
Okay.
leave if he wants.
And this is cause 648-327, Jandra J. Martinez. And state you have a motion on this case.
Yes, Your Honor. The state moves to waive the second enhancement, DWI second enhancement.
Objection from the defense, that will be granted. And Ms. Martinez, in cause 648-327 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead?
No contest, Your Honor.
And is there an agreement for Ms. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is for 8 months deferred, 18 months deferred adjudication, $650 fine, plus court costs, plus 60 hours of community service, which is to be probated, DWI intervention, victim impact panel, CAT SNP, and SSM for half the term.
And Mr. Brendel, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Martinez, in cause 648-327, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place you on 18 months deferred adjudication probation, and set a $650 fine plus court costs, 60 hours community service, probating all those. DWI intervention program, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety new intervention program, and a Smart Start mobile home interlock device at 4 blows a day for 9 months, which is 1/2 the term of the probation. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Martinez?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck, Ms. Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Brendel. Y'all are excused. Okay, we got cause number 671-976, State of Texas versus Trenton Burgess, represented by Mr. Milton Butler. Mr. Butler, are you ready to proceed at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Got cause 645-855, State of Texas versus Christian M. Fausto, represented by Mr. Roland Arguelles. Mr. Arguelles, are you ready to proceed at this time?
Defense counsel is ready, Your Honor, but I do want to bring to the court's attention that my client is out of state and we are intending on moving the probation out of state.
All right, where does he reside out of state?
He's currently in Illinois, Judge.
Where in Illinois?
Mr. Fausto, could you unmute yourself?
Rockford, Illinois, Your Honor.
And I missed that. What's the name of the city, please?
Rockford, Illinois.
Can you spell that for me?
ROCKFORD.
Got it. And what's going to end up happening is if we can transfer this probation to Illinois, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll work out some sort of a program where he'll answer by video, Zoom, and then he'll do all these programs on his own. Basically, you can do the majority of them online. Is that okay with the defense?
That should be okay by me, Your Honor.
All right, all good. And I've got cause 604-846, State of Texas versus Armando Maldonado, represented by Mr. Andrew Del Cueto. And who do we have for Mr. Del Cueto's firm today?
It's Jason Todd for Mr. Del Cueto, Judge.
Okay, good to go, Jason. Hang on.
Yes, sir.
And are you ready to proceed, Mr. Todd?
I am, sir.
All right. Gentlemen, in all these cases, I'm now looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purports to have both your signature and your attorney's signature on it. In fact, Mr. Burgess, is this your signature on this document in clause 671-976?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Fausto, is this your signature on this document in clause 645-855?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Arguelles, is this your signature as attorney for Mr. Fausto?
It is, Judge.
And I may have missed this. Mr. Butler, is this your signature as attorney for Mr. Burgess?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in clause 604-846, Mr. Maldonado, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Todd, as attorney for Mr. Maldonado, is this also your signature on this document?
I believe it's Andrew's signature, Judge, but I do recognize it.
Let's see. Oh, even I recognize Mr. Del Cueto's scratchy little signature. All right, we're good on that. Mr. Del Cueto is your trial partner, is he not, Mr. Todd?
That is correct, sir.
Very well. Okay, the next document I have is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signatures on the back. effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Burgess, is this your signature on this document in clause 671976, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Falso, is this your signature on this document in clause 645855?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Maldonado, is this your signature on this document in clause 604846?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, so that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Mr. Burgess?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Fausel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And is that correct, Mr. Maldonado?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Butler, as attorney for Mr. Burgess, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Arguelles as attorney for Mr. Fausel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Todd as attorney for Mr. Maldonado.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Burgess, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Fausel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Maldonado.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Butler, as attorney for Mr. Burgess, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Arguelles as attorney for Mr. Fausel.
They have, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Todd as attorney for Mr. Maldonado.
They have, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see what we're doing with Mr. Burgess here. Okay, Mr. Burgess, in clause 671976 to the charge of assault, bodily injury, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Burgess, please?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is for 15 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine, plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, APSE, prohibited possession of firearms, a no contact order with Thomas Sliman, as well as restitution, if any, to Thomas Sliman.
And Mr. Butler, who is this Mr. Thomas Sliman to Mr. Burgess? Is this like a bar situation, or
He's a neighbor. He's a neighbor.
All right, so we're gonna have to see him again. Is that kind of where we're at?
Well, he was a neighbor. This offense occurred, I believe, in 2019, or it happened a while ago. I don't know if they're still neighbors or
Do
not.
they still live within 100 yards of each other?
It was an apartment complex, I believe.
No, Your Honor, we do
All right.
not.
Great, thanks. And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Burgess, in clause 671976, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of assault bodily injury. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 15 months deferred adjudication and probation. It says a $500 fine plus court cost, 48 hours community service, the APSE stress management course. Or do you have no firearms purchase, possession, or use, and no contact whatsoever with Thomas Sliman, SLIMMEN, and restitution, if any, to Thomas Sliman? If that becomes an issue and the defense does not agree with whatever amount the alleged victim is requesting, then we can have a hearing on that for restitution. Fair enough?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge,
All right.
wasn't this the case that was going to be transferred?
I've got Mr. Falso, who lives in Illinois.
No, ma'am, that is
Talking
Mr.
about-
Fausel's case.
Okay,
You live in San Antonio, Mr. Burgess?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're good.
okay.
All right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Burgess?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from the defense.
Good luck, Mr. Burgess. Thank you, Mr. Butler. Y'all excused.
Thank you.
Okay, this is cause 645855. State of Texas versus Christian M. Falso. Let's see what we're doing here. And Mr. Falso, on cause 645855 to the charge of terroristic threat. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
My paperwork says no contest. Once again, it doesn't matter.
It is a no contest, Judge.
All right, State, is that okay with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Fausto in clause 645-855?
Yes, Your Honor. For 645-855, the agreement is for 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated by 12 months, $500 fine plus court costs, 60 hours of community service, APSE, a no contact order with Siobhan Dellin Calloway, restitution to Siobhan Dellin Calloway, and the state will take into consideration cause number 645-854.
Defense, what happened in this case?
Your Honor, it was the girl that he was seeing at the moment. They had an issue. They were having problems while they were together. And according to the offense report, Mr. Fausto vandalized her vehicle.
Gotcha. And Mr. Arguelles, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor. I did want to bring up something to the court's attention.
Sure, go ahead.
My client is on disability and is on a set income. We would be asking for some leniency in the fine in the case and possibly the court costs, see if the court could find them in abeyance. And if the court would like Mr. Fausto to address this matter, then we can go further into this.
Well, I have no authority to modify court costs. His monthly supervisory fees is set at the lowest statutory amount of $25, like every other defendant in this court. So that doesn't get any better. And all things considered, it looks like he got a very reasonable deal with the state.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Mr. Fausto, on clause 645-855. Court accepts your plea of no contest to the charge of terroristic threat. I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court cost, 60 hours community service, a PSE course, no contact with, let me read this, Siobhan Dellin Calloway, and restitution, if any, to be paid to Siobhan Dellin Calloway. Once again, if restitution becomes an issue, we can have a hearing on it if both sides don't agree on the amount. Taking into consideration clause 645-854, which is granted, and it shall be dismissed. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Fausto on clause 645-855?
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state.
Okay, take care of everybody. So Mr. Fausto and Mr. Arguelles, thank you. Y'all are dismissed.
Your Honor, may I hang around? I have a question for the court.
No, you bet. And also, I neglect, this is what Pat brought up. I neglected to say that Mr. Fausto's probation will be transferred to Rockford, Illinois, and if that's not possible, he'll be answering by Zoom, and he'll have to do whatever. I think he only has one course to do, the APSC, which can be done online, and the community service hours he can find in Illinois. So I don't think that's going to be an issue.
And Your Honor, may the court recall the warrant in this case?
And we're going to recall the warrant and all other pretrial bond conditions.
Thank you, Judge.
But that probably won't be in effect till tomorrow. So just be aware of that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Fausto. You can be excused now.
Thank you. All right. This is clause 604-846. State of Texas versus Armando Maldonado. Let's see what we're doing here. States, you got a motion.
Yes, Your Honor. The state moves to waive the second enhancement.
No objection from the defense. That will be granted.
No objection.
I imagine not. Okay, Mr. Maldonado, in clause 604-846 for the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Maldonado in clause 604-846?
Yes, Your Honor. In 604-846, the agreement is for 180 days in the Bear County Jail, probated for 18 months, a $850 fine plus court costs, 64 hours of community service, which is to be probated for military service, DWI intervention, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP, SSM for half the term, $60 to DPS, forfeiture of weapon to the DA's office, regular UAs, and the state will take into consideration cause number 604849.
Mr. Todd, is that your understanding of the agreement?
That is, Your Honor. Just the one on the forfeiture of the weapon. We were filing a motion and had discussed with Ms. Galloway prior about releasing of the weapon to the firm as part of the case. And I have that motion to file once we're completed today.
And what kind of weapon is it? I know it's a handgun, but what make is it? I'm trying to get a
It's a
value.
Springfield, 45 caliber Springfield.
Okay, it's a plus or minus $1,000 gun, is what it boils down to. State, do you have an objection if I award it to the attorneys and the law firm as additional attorney's fees not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friend?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, we'll do that. You just got to supervise Mr. Del Cueto anytime he's around any kind of dangerous objects. You know how he is. So
Thank you.
you're in charge of this weapon of mass destruction. Don't let Andrew go off in the corner with it or he'll shoot himself in the foot.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
All right, anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Maldonado?
Nothing from the state.
Good luck, Mr. Maldonado. Thank you, Mr. Todd. And once again, we're going to recall all prior pretrial bond conditions and any warrants that might be out there, et cetera.
Thank you.
And he did get credit for community service for his military service, correct, Your Honor?
Absolutely. We probate all for his military service.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
May we be excused?
That's what I got. And everybody's can be excused unless somebody needs to stay around and talk. Mr. Roland, did you need to talk to me on something?
Yes, Judge. I have a client out of County Court 5 that she's trying to get transferred to the Veterans Treatment Court. I want to see if y'all could provide me with the phone number, who to contact so she can do that ASAP.
What is your client's name?
Her name is Susan Beasy. I have her phone number so I can give it to y'all.
Josh, over to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who was the attorney there?
I'm the attorney, Rolando.
Arguelles.
Chris Whitmore is our case manager. He'll be the one to do an initiation. We would request if you could send us an email with her phone number and email address.
Okay.
That
what
way,
would be the email?
Chris, are you up?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, tell him your email real quick.
It is